Hello, I'm here from a garden center, and today we're going to talk about which trees make the best bonsai. A lot of people ask us this question in the store. They come in looking for a bonsai tree or a bonsai kit, and they are not quite sure what to get because there are so many different types of bonsai trees. So I want to just go through some of the most popular ones that we carry in our store. The first thing that I always tell customers is that yes, you can bonsai almost any tree. Bonsai actually just means the technique of growing a tree in a container and making it small using pruning and special potting techniques. So you can use almost any tree species and turn it into a bonsai. However, some trees do make better bonsai than others. You really want to look for trees that have small leaves. That way, when you prune them, it keeps that small leaf size. If you have a tree with big leaves, say like an oak tree, you can still prune it and make it small. But those leaves are just going to keep growing bigger and bigger. And also trees that take a lot of pruning and shaping are easier to grow as a bonsai. Some trees are very fast growing, and if you're a beginner, sometimes it can be hard to keep up with the pruning and keep the tree small. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with one of my favorites, and that's the Japanese maple. Japanese maples are probably one of the most popular trees to grow as a bonsai because they have naturally small leaves. They respond very well to pruning. And this tree right here is actually a full-size tree. This is called a dwarf Japanese maple. It's a little bit smaller than a standard Japanese maple, but you could definitely put this in the ground. But a lot of times we'll take cuttings from Japanese maples and grow them as bonsai. The nice thing about Japanese maples is they do really well in containers. They don't mind having their roots confined because their root system tends to stay pretty small. So you can keep these things pruned easily and they will reroot easily. So if you need to do some major pruning, you can prune it back and then you can just stick that branch in water and it'll grow roots on it. Japanese maples do prefer acidic soil, so we recommend using a soil mix that's made for acid-loving plants. Also, they love organic matter, so you can add a lot of compost to this soil mix. We sell a couple different soils in our store that would be good for Japanese maples. One is called the acid-loving plant soil. This has a lot of organic matter in it, and it's very well draining. Or we also have a mix called Bonsai mix. Both of these would work very well for Japanese maples. Japanese maples also like shade. So if you're planting this outside, you might want to plant it under a larger tree. You can also grow them in full sun if you water it more often. But if you're going to grow it in full sun, you're going to want to protect it from the hot afternoon sun, especially if it's a younger tree. If you put it in full sun too young, it can scorch the leaves. But if you give it a little bit of shade during the hottest part of the day, that should help prevent that. Another great tree to grow as a bonsai is the pine. There's a lot of different types of pine trees that you can grow as a bonsai. We carry mostly Austrian pine and Scotch pine. These are both very easy to grow. They take a lot of pruning and shaping, and they respond well. We also sell Chinese pines. These tend to have longer needles. But all these pines are great for bonsai. Another advantage of growing pines as bonsai is that they stay green year-round. So if you live in a place where your trees lose their leaves in the winter, pines will give you year-round color. Just remember that conifers like pines, spruces, firs, they do prefer acidic soil. So you can use that same soil mix that we talked about for the Japanese maple. Also, conifers tend to dry out faster because those needles suck up the water. So make sure you water it whenever the soil is dry. Juniper is another tree that makes a really good bonsai. Juniper tend to have a silvery color to their foliage, which looks really nice as a bonsai. They also take a lot of pruning. The one thing I would caution with juniper is they can be invasive. Their roots will grow out and they will grow kind of low to the ground. So if you have a lot of trees planted around it, they may try to grow over and take over those other trees. So you may have to prune off some of those lower branches. But overall, junipers are really good for bonsai. Another tree that we sell a lot of is the fig. This is Ficus microcarpa. It's a very easy tree to grow. It's a tropical tree, so it does not tolerate cold well. So if you're growing this outdoors, you have to plant it in a place where it's protected from frost and freezing temperatures. Ficus are really easy to grow. They grow quickly. They take a lot of pruning. The one thing I would caution with ficus is they'll drop leaves anytime they get stressed. So if you move it around, if you repot it, it'll drop leaves. So it's not a good idea to move it around a lot once it's established. But if you're growing it in a container, you can bring it indoors during the winter time. In a lot of areas in the US, you can grow this outdoors year-round. Just make sure it's in a protected area. We have customers who grow these outside here in Zone 6. They just plant it against the house and it does really well. Another tree that we sell a lot of that is really good for bonsai is the crabapple. Crabapple trees are small maturing trees. They have small leaves. They take a lot of pruning. They have really cool bark. It kind of peels off, which looks good. And also, if you've ever seen a crabapple tree in bloom, it's just covered with these small little pink flowers, which looks amazing. Another fun tree to grow as a bonsai is the flowering quince. This is a tree that we typically only see as a shrub. But if you prune it in a certain way, you can grow it as a small tree. This is a very slow growing tree. It takes a long time to grow this one. So if you want a tree that grows quickly, this isn't the best choice. But if you're willing to be patient, it does have these beautiful blooms that appear in the springtime. It kind of looks like a snowball bush, but it's not a snowball bush. It's a different plant altogether. Another tree that we sell that is really good for bonsai is the hornbeam. This is also called the American curls or musclewood. It's a really neat tree with interesting bark. It kind of curls. You can see all these curls in the trunk here, and then the leaves turn gold in the fall. It's a really neat tree. It grows medium speed. It takes pruning really well. We sell it in a couple different sizes. We have a standard size and we have a dwarf size. So if you're wanting to grow this as a bonsai, I would either get the standard size or you could buy a few of these dwarf trees and then grow them as a forest of bonsai. Another tree that you can grow as a bonsai is the birch. Birches are really neat because they have this peeling bark. A lot of times people think that you cut and grow birches in containers because their roots will grow out and destroy the container. And that's true if you use a regular old birch tree, but we sell a dwarf birch that grows really well in containers. The only thing with birch trees is they like acidic soil. So make sure you use that acid-loving plant soil. Well, that about covers all the trees that we sell that are really good for bonsai. Remember, any tree can be grown as a bonsai if you have the patience to prune it and shape it. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about bonsai, feel free to give us a call or stop in one of our stores. We have a staff that's knowledgeable about bonsai, and we'd love to help you.